All right, here I am again, Jeff the SP Spaz, recording video as I leave work because I can't find any other time to do it. And this time I'm going to try to get my message out fast enough that the thing won't cut me off at the end and give me a message that says I have to hit stop, and anytime I X out the thing telling me to hit stop, it pops back up over the stop button so you can't hit it. Like, that kind of defeats the purpose. Whoever designed that program. Anyway, yeah, so far I'm not really a fan of this Screencastify thing, but it's serving its purpose for at least one more time as I try to once again navigate through the really bad drivers who I deal with in this area. Let's see, some evidence of some right over there as I say that. I wish I could show you that. Could have, put a camera on the idiotic thing that guy was doing. But anyway, I wanted to talk briefly because this is a fasting day for me. I'm doing alternate day fasting, or some people call it the every other day diet, because some people get, they start getting up in semantics about, oh, it's not true fasting if you're not 0 calories for this number of hours or whatever. I do end up 0 calories for certain periods of time, as everyone does, because I'm not constantly eating. But it's not really about that in terms of what I'm doing it for. And what I wanted to talk about briefly is fasting in general, in terms of the feeling that one gets from fasting. Because I see a lot of videos or see a lot of comments in text where people talk about that they feel energized by fasting, that they actually feel like they have more energy when they're not eating than when they do. I think I hear this more from people who eat high-carb diets when they do eat, so they get kind of that sluggish feeling from eating. I don't tend to hear it as much from low-carb people, but I still do some. And so I just want to say, I want to just point out, because I'm often in the minority on a lot of things, and so I want to say again that in this case that is the case, and that I've never felt like that. I've never felt like this tremendous energy boost from fasting. People talk about mental clarity. I've experienced that a little bit, but in a certain way. Like, it's actually easier for me to drift off mentally when I am fasting. But if I do concentrate on something hard, then I can sort of have that I'm really in the zone feeling. So I can maybe, once I'm able to get myself to concentrate on something, then I can in some ways do it better. An example of that was when I did my longest fast that I actually kept track of, which was 72 hours. I had a tennis class at one point during that, and in the class with several people, I'm not always doing something. There's times in which we're doing a particular drill, and there's a single file line, and you do your part, and then you go around to the back of the line. So while I was doing the activity, I was really in the zone and concentrated and able to do it fine. Possibly better than usual, I don't know. But every time that I would circle back around to the back of the line, then I found myself daydreaming, drifting off mentally. Like I couldn't focus on. Normally, I watch everybody else while they do it, and kind of try to get what I can out of observing that. And I was unable to do that when I was fasted that long, and that was somewhere in the 36-hour range, maybe. I don't know, maybe a little more than that, actually, 40-something hours. And when I did the 72-hour fast, I'll probably make a longer video about that experience later, but the worst I felt was actually that night after doing the tennis in the afternoon. That night after not eating after my exercise, I felt ill. So not only did I not feel more energized, I felt actually sick. That was the worst I felt during that period. It was around 48 hours in, I think. But after I got through that, I did feel better. But I didn't get some tremendous surge of energy where I like passed through that and, oh, now I feel super great. And like I'm floating on clouds. Like I was watching this guy earlier was saying he feels like he's just floating on air when he's fasting. And I'm like, nope, haven't experienced that. That does not line up with my experience. Now, do I have like the opposite of that where some people have described these just like horrible, feelings of hunger where they can't stand, going more than a few hours without eating? No, I don't get that. I have experienced some irritability and things like that, but nothing like super severe, other than what I just mentioned, and that and about the 48-hour mark of that 72 hours. And like I said, I did end up feeling better after that. I really wish it would show me the time on this. Oh, it does. Duh, it's right there. Okay, it took me a while to find it. So yeah, it looks like I got a little less than 4 minutes before it'll cut me off. So I'm going to wrap this up. So to sum up, I don't feel spectacular when fasting, but I also don't feel terrible most of the time. I do sometimes feel a little bit more irritable when it's been longer since I've eaten. I don't have, like, it depends on what time of day it is. In the morning, I feel it's a lot easier for me to fast in the morning because I usually don't feel super hungry when I wake up anyway. Now, since I've been doing the alternate day fasting, I do feel hungrier in the morning than I did before I started that. But it's still the easiest to me to fast in the morning because it takes me a while to get hungry, especially on non-work days, especially days where I am home and kind of ease into the day. Don't really get up and really start doing anything first thing in the morning. So weekends are a lot easier for me to fast. Some people describe the opposite, but I guess I'm imagining those are people that either have little kids or activities or things that they immediately have to get into on the weekends. Whereas for me, I don't. Work days are more eventful in terms of things that I am obligated to do. Now that my son is 20 years old, I really don't have those, obligations and activities related to him that I used to have when he was a kid. So yeah, easier for me to fast on weekends, but yeah, I haven't experienced this amazing feeling people have described. I don't know, maybe at some point I will, but I don't really have a strong desire to do like a really long extended fast. Some people might respond to this and say, oh, well, if you just do, this number of days, then, I'm not going to say I'll never do that, but right now it's not my intention. So anyway, there's a little bit more about fasting and the feeling that I have on it, and I'll touch more on this later. One thing I want to say, well, okay, I'm going to make that a separate video. So I'll just go ahead and wrap this one up now and say, as always, like this video, please subscribe, comment, share, all that wonderful stuff, and see you next time.